Hey everybody, John here. It's another beautiful day in Pennsylvania. Coming to you this time from Bald Eagle State Forest. This is campsite number 14. It's right on Rag Valley Road. The campsite is easy to find, and you've got a nice drive here. Space for several cars if you wanted to bring a group, I guess. I think maximum number of people at the site is 10, but you can see that you can pull your car right up to the edge of the campsite here for easy loading and unloading. And we've got a picnic table, we've got a fire pit, we've got that thing. I guess we'll hang our trash bag from there. And then at the back of the campsite, I see that there's this path that goes back there. So I might explore that at some point, but right now I have no idea where that goes. Anyway, we're going to do some camping out here. We're going to do some cooking. We may do some hiking. We may do some other exploring. But I guess right now I need to find a place to set up my tent and maybe gather some firewood too. Well, you know, after looking around, I think maybe the flattest spot, the one I like the best, is right here with this big old log in the middle of it. So I guess we'll just slide this over this way and get it out of the way. I think I'm going to set up the tent right here. We'll have a tight campsite here. It'll be pretty close to the fire pit and the table. With all these trees over here, we have a pretty good chance of shade in the morning, no matter what. You know, it's pretty well shaded all around. We've hung up our trash bag there and found a little bit of trash around the campsite, just little pieces of debris, you know, bottle caps and stuff like that. Not a whole lot here, which is good. So we went ahead and cleaned that up, got it in the trash bag. That bag does have a scent to it though, so I'm not going to leave it hanging out overnight. Of course, there could be food scraps and things like that in there anyway, so not good to leave it out regardless. But even without any other, you know, food in there for animals to get to, it still has a scent to it that could attract bears. So we're gonna put all stuff like that in the car overnight. That'll function as our bear box. And I've never heard of a black bear breaking into a car. I guess grizzlies have been known to do that, but not the black bears that we have here in Pennsylvania. So let's see if we can move this log out of the way and then get our tent set up here. It's a heavy one. I guess I'll just roll it. Well, here's wood that I found around here to burn. Slim pickings. Not exactly choice wood, but maybe this site gets used fairly often. And so it's pretty well picked clean around here. But that'll be plenty for cooking. If we want to sit by the fire for hours tonight, then that probably won't do. I haven't been able to find anything big. And even if I did, I left my saw in Oregon, so I wouldn't be able to use it. I'd have to just figure out what I could break off and that kind of thing. Campsite's coming together. There are quite a few mushrooms around here, in case you're interested. There's one. There's one. Got some along the tree there. That one almost looks like a rock. Here are a couple more. There's one. And over here, I think I spotted one or two. So if these are the kinds of mushrooms that you want or need, Campsite 14, Bald Eagle State Forest, Rag Valley Road. Well, we've got some very special meals planned for this trip. Tonight we're going to have some venison spaghetti. And then in the morning, we're going to have something interesting and something actually that I've never tried before. But it's too early to get started cooking. I was thinking about exploring the path that goes back behind the campsite. I did go back there a little ways and discovered that it keeps going. I thought maybe I would just come to the end of it, but I found that there is a trail that goes back, I don't know how far. It'd be interesting to explore. But two problems. One, it curves around to the west, and it's afternoon. I noticed there are a couple of clearings and sunny patches back there, and I don't know if there'll be a lot of that, and I don't really want to walk in the sun and get hot. So thinking maybe save that for the morning or just later on when it's a little cooler. It's very comfortable. It's maybe 72 or 74 degrees or something like that, and in the shade it's just marvelous. But it is a little bit hot in the sun. Another problem is I'm hearing a lot of gunshots behind me here to the west, and that trail heads over in that direction. So I guess there are hunters back there, but I'm hearing it so often that I'm wondering if actually there's just some target practice going on there. So instead of doing that, I was looking at the map here, and we're in kind of the northwest part of Bald Eagle State Forest, and a little parcel of it that you see in green here. We're somewhere here. This is Rag Valley Road. You can see we're not that far away from Interstate 80. I imagine we'll be hearing traffic noise tonight while we're sleeping, which is okay with me. I don't really mind while I'm sleeping. I don't hear the interstate now, but probably tonight you'll be able to hear it. But I notice if we continue on Rag Valley Road here, now I can't tell what's going on right there. Here's where 80 comes through, and it looks like maybe Rag Valley Road kind of takes a left and goes up here to State Road 477. But if we bear to the right and loop around like this, we end up on Rensselaers Road, something like that. I don't know how that's pronounced, but loop around and then come back to the west, and there's a vista up there. So I'm thinking, why don't we drive up to that vista? Take a look. Let's go. So I see that we're coming up along Interstate 80. I got a glimpse of it just beside us here. A little ways back there, I thought I spotted a nice piece of firewood beside the road. So I stopped and went to inspect it, and it didn't look good after all, but I did see a can on the ground there. So I thought, okay, well, I'll pick up that can and, get it out of here. But I went to pick up the can, and it was heavier than I expected because it's a full, unopened Pepsi. This must be the end of Rag Valley Road, and then you turn right, and it's Low Place Road. And there's Interstate 80 right there. So I guess we want Low Place Road. Want to go up this way? In any event, we just keep veering to the right so that we head back toward the west to get to that vista. So what do you think? Would you trust this unopened Pepsi? No telling how long it's been laying there. It wasn't easily visible from the road. There's another little road that goes back that way. I don't know what that... Oh, that goes back to campsite number 13. Well. My goodness, look at that. You can see Interstate 80 down below. Just past that vista is a sign here, the Winter Trail and the Stam Trail, which apparently start at this tower here. And the Winter Trail, I think, is first, and it eventually goes down to the Stam Trail. That's a possibility for a hike. But what caught my eye was on the other side of the road here. What is this right here? Now this, I'm pretty sure this is forest property, so, and there's no vehicle here. So I think this is a state forest owned building. Now it looks like there might be a light and a camera there. So, I mean, I don't want to trespass, but the place just looks interesting. There's firewood in a couple of places and a nice fire pit there. I just love the how this is set among these trees here, with pine needles surrounding the house. The house is boarded up, so, you know, the windows, and they got locks on them. But with this fire pit here, it makes me wonder, is camping actually permitted here? Can you pitch a tent here? So this reminds me of the cabin where, you know, next to the fire tower where Jeremy and I stayed on the Bucktail Path. And you're allowed to camp there, but, you know, if you just happened upon the place like we're happening upon this, you might not know that. So I just wonder. A phone call, I guess, to the state forest office would clear it up. Here's some more interesting mushrooms to look at. But this is a cool place, and man, there's lots more firewood down there. This was obviously someone's residence originally. And look at this beautiful masonry. The wall around here, which provides, you know, and then the steps down to the cellar there. The house itself, made of stone. Obviously it was wired at some point, and I suppose still is. Driving along, and all of a sudden I heard this scraping sound, something dragging along the ground. And I thought, oh no, did some kind of plate fall from the bottom here, and is it dragging? Well, no, apparently I just picked up a twig right there. And that's scraping. I can see how it looks like it's sort of L-shaped, and part of it caught on this, that tube right there. It was dragging the rest along the ground. Since I can't get up under there, see if I can knock that off of there with another stick. In fact, I think I have just the thing. My walking stick. Wow. That thing is really caught in there. Come on. From the other side, maybe? Success! Well, we're back at camp. And look, I found some firewood that I threw into my car, including a couple of nice big hefty pieces. Check this one out. All right, while we're waiting on the fire, we will get the fixins ready for dinner. And occasionally you might hear some loud revving engines coming from the north or the northwest. Might there be a racetrack there somewhere? It is Saturday night, so oh boy. Too bad we can't see them from up here. That would at least make the noise worth it, but I guess we'll just ignore it. All right, so we're having venison spaghetti. Now, the sauce is already made, and it is in the cooler in this container here. So you can kind of see on the side here. This is sauce that my cousin made. It already has some meat in it. It has like spicy sausage. But take a look at it. Oh man, that looks good. It's got green and black olives in it, and mushrooms, and homegrown tomatoes. We're going to brown some ground venison in the skillet over the fire, and then when it's hot enough, it'll be pretty lean too, so there won't be a lot of grease in there that needs to be drained out. And then we'll just add the sauce to it and stir it around in the pan and heat it up. Separately with the cook pot, we're going to do some spaghetti. So in here, I've got a box of spaghetti. So here we have some deer burger. This is a pound, and we don't need nearly that much. We'll do about 1/4 of a pound. The rest of it we'll just make into patties, and then I'm going to pack those away. Take those back home, have deer burgers at home in the coming week. Or if I wanted to, I could just go ahead and freeze them cooked, get them out later whenever I want. So break that in half, and then half again. And I'm going to put about this much in the skillet there. There is like no grease there. It's very lean meat. Okay, now that the venison is browned, we'll add the sauce. I guess I'll just put it all in there. I don't know if I'm hungry enough to eat all of it, but if not, I'll put the leftover back in here. Get that venison mixed in with the rest. And at this point, this just needs to be hot, and it will be ready to eat because everything is cooked. Now, if we had spaghetti already, we'd be ready for it, but we haven't even boiled the water for that yet. Probably should have done that earlier, but it's okay. And also, we still have deer burger patties to make. And I guess we get a little treat with our dinner. A ground score Pepsi. I cleaned it up. Now, there's a date on the bottom of this. April 1st, 2024. This is the first week of August, 2024. So it's past that date. And you know what that means? Nothing. It means it's perfectly good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to drinking it. Expiration dates on soda in cans. Come on. I think I was a teenager when they started doing that, or maybe I was in my 20s. When they started, they had expiration dates on other stuff before that. But when they started putting them on soda in cans, I said, now I know for sure that those dates are a scam. Okay, I'm going to use this lid to set the spaghetti noodles in. And is that enough noodles for me, you think? Noodleage? Maybe about this much. I want to make sure it doesn't boil over. Turn that down a bit. So the fire went out, but that's okay. As you can see, I covered the sauce with foil. I'll be adding the noodles to the sauce and then just stirring it in. And I forgot to tell you, we've also got some Parmesan cheese to put on top. Oh yeah. By the way, when the noodles are done, How are we going to strain them? $1.25 from Dollar Tree. All right, now we can add the noodles to the sauce. Hopefully there's enough room in there. Now we're going to add some of this Parmesan cheese. Oh, man, that's good. That's delicious. Let's get us a big fat mushroom in there. Let's enjoy our Pepsi with it too. Let's get nuts. Just kidding. The Pepsi is, of course, just fine. How does someone drop a full can of Pepsi in the woods and not know it and not be able to find it? If it was you, you'll be happy to know it's going to good use. It's about 11:15, and it's very noisy. We still have those revving engines coming from the north, northwest. A racetrack? You hear that? I don't know how late they're going to go. It could be the traffic noise from Interstate 80, but it doesn't seem like it would sound like that. It sounds to me more like a racetrack, unless traffic goes up a hill right near there and people accelerate. I don't know. So I don't know if we'll be hearing that all night or what. Off to the south, I've been hearing a different noise. Let's see if we can catch that. I'll slip my flip-flops on and we'll step out and see if we can hear. At first I thought it was a coyote or some coyotes, but I think the noise is a little too regular. It's making the same kind of sound again and again. So I think maybe it's an owl. Can't really see too well. I can see the back of my car right here, so I'll step up to it. But there are some stones that I need to make sure I don't trip over. Now there was a little bit of moonlight earlier. We got a nice clear sky. Now we just have some nice insect noises. It'd be nice if we only had that and not the revving engines. Well, I don't hear that owl or whatever it was anymore. So, guess we'll go back. And you can see the outline of my chair there. That reminds me, I actually want to fold up that chair and bring it into the tent. There's no rain forecast, but just in case, it is a bummer to find your chair wet in the morning. So yeah, I'm gonna pack that chair in, and I'm gonna pack myself into bed, and we'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning. So we got hot coffee in the cup, thanks to the cook pot. The thermos over there has coffee in it that is not hot, but that's easily remedied if necessary. Getting the fire going for our breakfast, which is going to be very special and very unique. What's for breakfast? Well, let's take a look in the cooler here. Do we have butter? No, not really. There's something else in there. Got a couple of eggs. The centerpiece of the meal is some Scrapple. Are you familiar with Scrapple? It looks like this. Now, I have never had it before, but I thought I'd try it. So Scrapple is like pork scraps with cornmeal made into a loaf, and I guess you slice it. And I don't know what the slices are supposed to look like typically, but we'll just guess. We'll have that with some eggs. I've got a couple of pieces of bread, so I'm going to try to toast that. Inside here we have cranberry sauce, so I'm just going to spread that on my bread. So it should be an interesting meal. Now, also, I don't know if Scrapple will stick to a pan when you're, so we're going to try to fry it. And so I have here somewhere an olive oil, an oil packet. So, yeah, right here. So the picture shows olives and it says olive oil blend. When you read the details here, it says a master chef blend of canola oil and 10% extra virgin olive oil. So I guess it's 90% canola oil, and it took a master chef to measure out the percentages. But we'll put some oil in the pan there just to keep the scrapple from sticking. So shortly after I talked to you last night, those loud revving engines stopped. So it was around 11:30 or midnight, I guess, when that finally stopped. And then the background noise settled into more of what I would expect from highway noise, just sort of more monotonous and not nearly as loud. So I guess I'm back to my theory that that was a racetrack. So I guess in the summertime, if you're going to stay at Site 14 in Bald Eagle State Forest on a Saturday night, beware that that's a possibility. I would think maybe Friday night could be too. Now, Site 13 is on the same, we saw it yesterday when we took our little drive, so it's not that far away. You could have the same problem there. I feel like I could probably eat 3 slices, but I would think 3 will be enough. And the rest of it we'll wrap up and put back in the cooler. All right, it might be hot enough. Let's try 1 slice of the scrapple anyway. Yeah, we're getting a little sizzle. I don't know, maybe the foil damps down the heat a little too much. Now let's see how we do with an egg. There we go. There's that kind of char that we're looking for. I think I would like to scramble the egg, but yeah, it's going to be a mess. Still stuck to the pan a little bit, even with the oil in there. I thought I'd just try 1 egg rather than 2. Now I wish I'd put them both in there. And just 2 pieces of scrapple instead of 3. I've made such a mess of it that I might just kind of mix everything together. I don't know. But let's have a taste of this scrapple and see what we think. That's not bad. I don't really know how to describe it, except it's kind of like a soft sausage. Like I said, it is made with cornmeal. So it has cornmeal mixed in there with pork scraps. And when we say scraps, you probably don't want to know which parts of the pig end up in there. Well, I think this bread will toast if we do like that. I don't think it will. Well, maybe it is. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that is kind of working. It's also making the toast stick to the foil. Yeah, okay. Let's lift it off the fire a little bit. All right, I guess that'll have to do for the toast. And like I said, the topper is some cranberry sauce. Oh, yeah. And you say cranberry sauce in August? It's not Thanksgiving. Well, as far as I'm concerned, every day is Thanksgiving. Every day above ground is a good one, and that's as good as any jam or jelly, I would say. All right, well, that was a pretty good breakfast. As I was finishing it up, I thought to myself, when I'm done, I would like to go and check out this path here behind the campsite and see how far that goes. Remember, we decided not to do it yesterday because I was hearing gunshots over there, and I'd just prefer not to go in the direction of gunshots. Well, just as I was thinking that and finishing my toast, pow! Crack! Shots coming from over there. And I've heard it 3 or 4 more times since then. It's been quiet the last few minutes. I guess we'll see. I'm not even going to put my pack on. I'm just going to take my walking stick. I don't really want to go terribly far, but I'm just curious to, I could say curious to see how far it goes, but if it goes too far, then I'm not going to follow it all the way. But before we leave, I'll take that trash bag there and put it in the car. All the other food is put away and, it's in the car. I definitely want to put that trash bag in there too. It has some food scraps and whatnot. I could think, well, that trash bag, no big deal if I forget it because, uh, if an animal gets into it and makes a mess, I'll just clean it up, no big deal. But there's more at stake than just my convenience. If any animal should manage to get a snack from that trash bag, well, then I've done you a disservice, right? Because animals, whenever they find food, they will later return to that location, checking for food again. So if an animal manages to get a snack here at campsite 14 because of me, then later when you're staying here at campsite 14, that's an animal that may come around and pester you and possibly endanger you. So I have a responsibility to you to make sure that no animal ever gets a meal out here in the woods because of me. So let's get that trash bag in the car, and then we will take off down this little trail. Let's go ahead and grab the orange vest, since we do know that there are hunters around. Getting thick with ferns here. At this point, it looks like one could go that way, and it looks a little bit like a trail going this way too. But this way looks a little bit more established, or does it? Or is it just sort of trampled? And I don't know if we'll go much further because, the ground is sort of soft right there. I would expect it to be a little harder. It's also more uneven than you would expect from a trail. What happens if you go the other way, though? Okay. Yeah, at this point, it's hard to tell if there is a proper trail going any direction. Well, that was fun. I guess we explored this trail. Let's go back. that'll just about do it from Bald Eagle State Forest. Now, my original plan was to stay in this area and hike some of those trails that we looked at yesterday, but I'm kind of not really feeling up to that. However, there is something I noticed out in the country on the way to the forest here, which looked pretty interesting. So on the way out, I want to check that out. So I've got one more surprise for you. Let's go. And this is the sunflower maze. Enter this way. Now, is this something we walk through? Sunflower maze. Never been through one. Parking either direction. Let's go to the left. They have food here. And there is a ticket booth over there. Let's see what our options are and what there is to do. Here's something called the Wiener Wagon. But it looks like they're not doing wieners right at the moment. Well, this appears to be free. Grab a ball, shoot some hoops. All right, let's check out the sunflower maze. Here's a map. I could take a picture of that, but nah, I don't want to do that. I'm told there's an observation deck here. So I think I'm gonna head up, take a right, then I'm gonna keep going to the right till I get to that observation deck. And then I think I'll just come back. And then again, I'm gonna keep going to the right and go around this side. So let's go, let's check it out. The sunflowers are all facing away from us. Guess when we come back, they'll be looking at us. Now, I'm told that at the observation deck, you can see buildings. So I can't wait for that. I spotted the observation deck over there with people on it. I don't see it now, and we're heading away from it. But I do remember some zigzagging on the map. Ah, there it is right there, just around the next bend.
Can't go back out in the sunflower.
Well, the view from the observation deck was actually better than I expected. So, this was an unusual hike for me. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for joining me. And if there aren't any more videos and you never see me again, then you'll know I got lost in here and couldn't find my way out. But I think I'll make it. So, see you on the next adventure.